Yeah, that it is. But you know what? Hopefully it's going to be some educated guesses. In the upper left, he is for Team Clash, the reigning world champion. Grooving to the beat here, he is Reynor.
Right, bottom right side, we have a red Brodals player fighting for Alpha X. Can he make it through? It is Classic.
So, I am curious here as we get into things. You said, hey, is Classic going to do the same builds he did to Reynor, or he did to Cyril? And, you know, we do know that Reynor was watching at least the winners match games. He was watching the games of Beyond versus Cyril. But what I don't know whether he was tuning in earlier to watch Cyril versus Classic, because, you know, you're getting ready, you're warming up, you're tuning up for your games there. And yeah, he's had some time, so probably went back and look at the VODs. Which does mean that Classic, hopefully he has something a little bit different. Because absolutely, the Reynor strikes me as the type of player that's going to go back, see what, at least at the high level, see the type of things the Classic was going for. So he does not get fooled by the same things that fooled Mr. Satala here.
Exactly.
Now, you got a standard opening, PVZ, thus far goes, and nothing too crazy. So, I got a question for you.
All right.
Seen any good movies recently?
Oh, this is gonna be a boring answer, but the most recent thing I watched was Squid Games.
Okay. Fair enough. Did you watch it in the, you watched it in the Korean or the English, or the, I guess, are there Dutch dubs in Netflix?
No. I just watched. Yeah, I watched the Korean version, obviously. Like I don't know. I think it's horrible if you watch something dubbed, right? I don't know. It feels wrong to me.
Yeah, unless you're trying to do something else and don't want to read subtitles, but that's fine.
I guess, but then there's so much other stuff you can watch, right? You know. Or listen to. You don't have to watch something that's in another language. You can just, you know, do something else then. And then when you do have time, watch something in the way it's intended to be. Right? Have the actual emotions that are within the language, and get as close to the kind of the representation that the makers of the stuff had in mind in the first place. I'm a bit of a purist, you see, BeoMulf.
There we go. But see, Kozan, now we've bought enough time. The game is evolving. We have a Stargate play here. Third base underway from Reynor. We've we have killed enough time talking about whether it's dubs not subs, subs not dubs. It's going to be controversial regardless. But what's not controversial is that the fact that Classic is opening up with an Oracle in this game number 1. We saw him do that to Reynor, find absolutely negative damage. But maybe Reynor is going to try to cut a little more corners. Maybe he gets the Spore Crawlers a little bit later. Queens are not in the proper position, and then maybe Classic makes something happen. I believe, the Overlord did see the Warp Gate timing, and that's a decent amount of Zerglings running across the map here, timing out with speed. There's no wall for now, but Classic's getting, there we go. Now there's the full wall here, but it's not in position. Adepts will have to find their way out, and Zerglings get this around. Suddenly, it's a disaster here. The Adepts are going to go down. Oracle is forced to stay on home, which means not too much damage. Oracles, of course, do kill Lings, but even still, the Lings are going to be faster. The wall will now be a full one as more and more Lings come flooding on in. Reynor loves his Ling all-ins today, and this one seems like it's working a little bit better, at least, than we saw against Beyond.
Yeah, that's for sure. I can't repair those Brodals buildings, of course. You can build more of them behind us, but look at that. The Zergling's still alive in the main base, walking around, coming back in to help break this wall once more. It's gonna be rough. It's a lot of surface area. Only one Void Ray shooting away at those Zerglings. Can Classic do this? Needs to get energy, needs to get those shield batteries online. Oh, is there an opening here? There is not an opening.
God.
I think he's done it. Right?
There are so many pylons. You can't just kill one and target and and depower everything. Zergling's going to get forced back, and Classic lost some workers, but this was a 21 drone all in from Reynor.
Yep. Back to drones there on the production tab. The Classic did spend a whole lot of money there on the defense as well. Of course, all those extra pylons, making the gateways. He has to remake his cyber core, so he's going to be delayed a little bit. But yeah, definitely not what you're looking for as Reynor there, I would say.
Game paused.
Oh,
Um, that was the delay. As,
there you go.
he had to get a couch or something, and it's now here.
He had to get a couch, of course. It's the caster couch. It's for us.
Yeah, pretty much. So now, Lings are going to try to find their way in, but with the Zealots here, I mean, there's a lot of surface area in this wall where the Zealots cannot keep safe. But I mean, there's shield battery overcharge. Shield battery is a thing. And now we're going to see the oracles of Classic find even more value. They killed 3 workers thus far. As they sit on the left-hand side. But there's a Spore, there's a Queen. I mean, there's definitely room, but Classic, he's got to choose what he wants to do. And it looks like what he wants to do here is going to be Sky Toss. It's going to be a... Ooh. It is the Zest idea.
The Tempest. All right. Well, you know what? This could either fail miserably or it could do pretty darn great. I feel like there's never really an in-between.
Yeah, did you
know what I mean?
Yeah, no, did you see the Scarlet versus Zest games from DreamHack Winter Finals?
I don't think I did that one. No.
No, in that
Scarlet
series,
versus Zest.
Yeah, where Scarlet beats Zest, and in that series, in one of the games that Zest did win. Actually, also one of the games he lost, but in one of the games that he won, he went for this Tempest idea, where he said, "Look, I'm getting a Stargate early, I'm getting a Fleet Beacon, but I'm doing it for Tempests." Because in a lot of these holds, it allows me to put pressure on the map. This long-range idea really allows me to do a lot. And on, say, maps like Curious Minds, where there's a decent amount of dead air, getting Tectonic Destabilizers does mean that you're able to knock down structures rather nicely. That being said, the Tempests have been revealed. Now, 1 Ling died to the Tempest. They're already worth it. 1 Zergling is worth the same as 1 Tempest. You heard it here first, folks.
I mean, the thing is that as soon as the Zerg kind of manages to get some sort of a response going, it gets very hairy for the Protoss. You need to have these Tempests kind of start picking away at enough Queens so that they're already worth it. He has the Oracles around, so can use those to grant him a good bit of vision. But so far, there we go. Now starting to pick them off. Status Trap as well, even. Huh.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate stasis. That means that actually the stasis trap is going to save the Roach and the Queen in this game instead of, allowing to do something. But now we're at 4 Tempests here. That's enough to almost one-shot a Queen. Once you get up to 1 more, they do start to go down. But the Queens are all very low now here as they're trying to chase down these Tempests, but they're unsuccessful instead. Well, the Tempests are just doing the wonderful thing. Now we're at 6 Tempests on the map. Voidery is coming in behind this. +1 is done. Or, excuse me, +1 is on the way. And, well, Classic's just being oppressive at this point. He says, look, you're not going to be able to chase me down. That's fine. I'm just going to sit here on the edge of range. I'm going to keep killing Queens. I'm going to keep killing other things. But now with the Hydras here, the Tempest, they have to sit over this middle spot. And that is, this dead air in the middle of the map is in part why this build is so strong on this map. It's like Everdream used to be, where you gotta go, in that game, in that meta, it was carriers, but is he gonna get +1? No, he will not. +1 looks like it will complete. Yeah, he's not target firing it in time. +1's done. That would have been massive if he'd gotten that, but dead air space gives the Tempest a really nice place to retreat to. And as long as they sit on the edge of creep, I mean, Reynor is not going to catch these for quite a while. Oh, that being said, 2 will go down. As we, of course, have Lings and Roaches winding their way on into the third base as well. 2 workers do go down, but now the Tempest found a nice high ground position. Knock down some, actually not knocking down a hatch here with Prismatic Alignment getting popped, but...
And choose. Yep. He doesn't want to lose them just yet, just to trade out for a hatchery, so he does have to move back. This is the problem with those Tempests. If they don't manage to get a little bit of momentum going, it starts to get really rough to get anything going with them.
I mean, they're still finding value, but you really didn't want to lose Tempest right there. Reynor just doing a really good job reading exactly where Classic was going to go, getting there a little bit ahead of time, and then finding value, but... that is going to be a dead third base there with Tectonic Destabilizers. Now we're starting to see the damage that he's been looking for. If he'd been able to get +1, that would have already pretty much made it worthwhile. So now Reynor is like, look, you got my base, but your army's on the other side of the map. Time for me to go all in. I got a lot of army. I got a lot of Hydras. Let me see if I can make something happen here. Classic will have to recall. to make sure that he can defend this. He will need those Tempests on the defense, but not before he just goes and says, okay, I'm going to get the Hive. Hive sounds like a good deal here. Roach's Hydra's Queens finding their way on in. We have no splash damage, by the way, which is the big downside of this push. I believe, no, the base stayed alive, and the Tempests are not there. They're just going to keep trading for it. Classic is going to lose this base, I think.
Yeah, this is pretty interesting. I was wondering why we saw the Hydras rather than Corruptus against the Tempest. I feel like that's a response to see more regularly, but this could be a good reason, right? Or a good argument to go for the Hydralisk instead. Look at what you can do across the map now. With a big bowl of Hydralisk, some Roaches, and your Queens, your opponent hardly has anything. There's 4 carriers here. No Interceptors left by now. And this is just going to keep pushing, and of course this is going to do more damage than, what was it, 4 Tempests and a Void Ray across the map?
Well, now 0 Tempests and 0 Void Rays across the map here.
Yeah.
As Classic lost every single one of them, he did not get the lair. He loses his third base. He almost loses another Tempest. And this idea that Classic had that looked so good. I mean, you counter the Queen Walk. You're able to get so much damage. You maybe are able to delay +1. All these things, all these ideas. When you lose all your Tempests and you lose your base and you're just not in position, suddenly that doesn't work out. And now Reynor, he lost his third, but he has another third mining. Classic has to find some way to get back in this game. Now he will find some Hydras, and he does have 1-1 on these carriers, on the Interceptors more importantly. But there's no splash. These Hydras do far too much DPS. At this point to really make anything worthwhile. I mean, Reynor is going to be able to counter this base. He already got some Hydras on the right side. It's going to be a dead base again. And at this point, Classic just doesn't have the money to rebuild his army. Not anymore.
Yeah, just being on a 2-base economy, and must be almost 1 base now with the main base getting very low on minerals. He's still making more Tempest as well, which has me worried. I don't think Reynor's going to struggle that much anymore, and if Reynor gets aggressive, like, where are you gonna kite those Tempests back towards, you know? You're gonna have to be forced into a fight, and they're just not great at a straight-up fight. He's losing carriers now as well. Oh, this is abysmal.
Yeah, Reynor just knows where everything and anything is. He didn't look all that great in the early game because he was waiting for a delivery, but now that he has a chair to sit in, he's got a new gaming chair. He's going to be able to, he's doing a lot better. We do have a 5 Tempest hit squad on the map once again, and it will try to deny a base, but at this point, it's not a matter of denying bases. It's a matter of staying alive for Classic, and that's not really something that's all that easy for him right now. There we go. We will see the base go down again. Classic, please kill the upgrades. Please do that. But he's not going to. Instead, he's going to try to knock down the Hive, and he will be successful in that. But now with the Fungals here, when was the last time you saw Fungals and Hydras Fungals killing Tempest? Generally, they're out of range, but not in this game. Hydras trying to find their way in. And we have some carriers, of course, but they have no Interceptors. And cares that Interceptors don't do all that much. The army is dying. The army is dead. Classic below 100 supply. And at this point, well, he's in, but I think it's just more trying to figure out what's happening next game.
Yeah, he must be, right? You must be aware that this is not really a salvageable position anymore. There it is. GG is called. Reynor with some good defense there.
Yeah, we're just gonna have to see. I mean, I want to see. I want to see more interesting styles out of Classic, but he already was showing us interesting things. You know, with the Tempest play there. Because remember, he did almost. It felt like he almost had the hold. Now, granted, you know what happened. What has happened has happened. But the question now is, you know, does Reynor go for that aggressive idea that he was going for in the previous game, and really this entire group, or was that more of a matter of, oh hey, look, I want to make sure that my games are done so I can take delivery of my new chair, and now that I have my chair or couch or whatever it is, we're gonna be in a good spot. I can play something that is a little bit more within my wheelhouse. We're gonna have to see.
Well, maybe that'd be fun to see see something like that. You know, adjust the type of strategies you're using in a big tournament like this. That's a fun thought, honestly. That it would be pretty wild, but I don't know. I don't know if I even want that to be true or not. Just the story is fun, but then again, right? What does that say about the tournaments and his idea about the tournament's importance?
Well, it's not that. It's just more like, well, I'm going to be distracted by. I'd rather just make sure my games are over by the time that you know. So I'm not distracted by that. I have confidence in my ability to win, anyways. You know. That's a little cheeky move there from Classic. Normally, you're just going to go block the natural with your probe, but he says, look, Reynor, yeah, you can have your natural, but what if I block your third for like 2 seconds instead of much longer? Not really going to work out here as the Adept will find the Queen. Okay. This will be Oracle play, of course, from Classic once again. He's not one of those players, at least does not appear to be one of those players that really likes going Void Ray into Oracle, other way around, which, again, it's a little bit less scouting ability because you're not going to have that, or scouting removal ability. You're not going to have the Void Ray out early, but on the flip side, you know, you're going to have an Oracle out a little bit earlier. We'll be able to find maybe some value as the Adept is going to find one. Oh, Adept is not going to be able to body block the second. He will get one worker, and that's nice. I mean, ideal is 2, but still getting one going to work out for you as now the Oracle's going to fly in. Where are our spores? We get one in the natural, or excuse me, one in the main, none in the natural, but the Queens are where they need to be. So this Oracle looks like it shouldn't get too much done.
Yeah, already losing its shield to the 2 Queens in position there.
Yeah.
Flying perhaps a little bit too close to the main entrance of the Zerg base, allowing that to happen. But getting 2 probes, it's not great. He keeps it alive. Potential is still there, right?
Yeah, it's just going to kind of sit behind the mineral line for a time. Maybe drop a stasis trap later on. Just try to make sure that he can really just be a little annoying idea in the back of Reynor's head more than anything else. Because at this point, yeah, he's got shields, not a lot of health. But maybe he can fly into... Actually, the Queens are not positioned in the natural here. So it's going to be... Oh, man. He could have gotten so many workers there. But instead, it's just going to be a stasis that traps 1 drone. So that's unfortunate. Classic very easily could have gotten 5-6 workers. Just with the Queen positioning, with the fact that the Spore was not there. But still, you get a worker, you delay it. It's fine. Now, meanwhile, behind this, of course, Classic, he's doing something similar to what he did to Cyril in that game number 2. We have a Twilight coming down. We have a Robo. But this time, there's a Forge with it. This time, I believe, it's going to be for, I was going to say this was going to be for +1 Blink, but no, it's going to be for Dark Templar and a +1. So it's going to be probably like a +1 Charge Lot Archon timing with DT to start coming in from Classic in this game number 2. Of course, Reynor, he's got the 5-minute Roach Warren, which doesn't exactly allude to a Queen Walk, just more kind of your standard defensive Roach play. And we're going to have to see whether he is made aware of the type of build. He's going to be able to make himself aware, actually, of the type of build that Classic is going for. Yeah, very crucial for him here. He does have the Roach Warren already on the way, +1 ranged attack lair in a good upgrading position. Drone count's getting up to above 60 right now, starting to approach 70. Oh, getting the Templar Archives as well. Yeah, gets to reinforce with more Archons later down the line, and for the more intense more gas in cost, right? As opposed to the Dark Shrine. Okay, he just cancels. Okay, yeah, okay, never mind. Sure, Charge Lot Archon Storm. This is gonna be the name of the game, I guess. Right. He like kind of looks around. He's like, you know what? There's a lair. There are spores everywhere. I'm probably not going to get too much with these DTs. It's more cost effective to build a high Templars into Archons than it is for DTs into Archons on a 3-base setup. So, okay, that's going to be fine. Meanwhile, it will be Archon drops to start here from Classic, as he does, of course, have the 2 Archons. Warp Prism is done now. Behind that, Charge on the way, +1 as well. We got a second Robo. So, Charge Lot Archon Colossus, Charge Lot Archon Disruptor potential options here. But we don't have a Robo Bade just yet, which is surprising. Maybe just double Robo Immortal, that like really going into kind of what used to be called the Pika style, Phoenix into Immortal Charge Lot Archon, but not Phoenix. Instead, it's just Void Ray Oracle into that. Is this Warp Prism has to be very, very careful indeed. I mean, Reynor is going Mass Roach. If there's a build that deals with Mass Roach, it's a lot of Immortals. For sure. He's gonna have the Storm there as well. So, like, the circling reinforcements should be able to be dealt with pretty easily together with those Archons. I mean, it's definitely a scary timing that could be coming in to Reynor here. Absolutely. So, yeah, this is going to be your double Robo Immortal into just a bunch of Roaches. Classic, I feel like he's got the upper head here. He's kind of cold red Reynor about what he wants to do. That being said, there's still a lot of Roaches and Ravagers and less Lings, but still a lot of Roaches, a lot of Ravagers trying to find their way on in. So this is going to be a defensive play from Classic in this game. He's going to need to make sure that he does stay alive as the Queen's starting to walk forward a little bit as well. Storm is done in 20 seconds. And that's the time we're, of course, going to be waiting for here. And it's all about these biles from Reynor. Can he make them hit on important units in this army? As one Archon goes down immediately. Storm is done in 8 seconds. The High Templar are still staying alive. We only have 3 Immortals right now, but of course, they're coming out 1 or 2 at a time. And with the Voider here doing a pretty good job knocking down the rest of these roaches. Storm number 1 is there. Do we see more storms, actually? Are we going to see some or some feedbacks on top of these Queens? No, it looks like the Immortals getting on top of that immediately. Storming the army on the right-hand side. Classic, he has the tech, but it feels like he's really running out of these chaff he needs to make sure that his wheat stays alive. And the army of Reynor continues to grow.
This is going to be one of those shield battery and Warp Prism Immortal videos, isn't it? If this if Classic holds here.
Well,
just 5 Immortals versus just an enormous wall of roaches. Let's see if it works out. It might. He's doing well so far. The Warp Prism misses one of the Immortals there. Numbers in army supply getting a little bit closer together. Oh, I didn't dodge that one either.
And the thing is, of course, shield battery overcharge is now done. Nothing to really keep these Immortals super immortal. We have no more storms anymore. And again, storms into roaches, not exactly... I mean, they're good. Storms are always good, but they're not quite as devastating as they are into Lings and Hydras. So now we have 3 Immortals that are all that remain. Reynor stutter stepping forward here. Classic, he's got nothing but nothing but these 2 Immortals trying to find their way on in. As now Reynor, he's on 4 bases. He's on 70 workers. The 3rd base of Classic is going to fall down. GG Reynor. He advances to a rematch with Bjorn in the finals.